RealAgriculture.com's coverage of the 2011 Farm Progress Show in Regina is brought to you by Morris. What's your name and where do you farm?
David Horn from Shaunavon, Saskatchewan.
In Shaunavon, what are the crop conditions like?
Soggy, saturated. About 2/3, most people done seeding. That's probably all that's going to get done.
What's your name and where do you farm?
Alan Magel, and I farm at Duval, Saskatchewan.
And how are the crop conditions in your area?
Real good.
Ideal?
Yes. We've been missing a lot of the rains, but we have a lot of subsoil moisture.
What's your name and where do you farm?
Jesse Gazdevich. I farm by Norquay, Saskatchewan.
And how are the crop conditions in your area?
Really good. Really good.
Ideal?
Ideal, yeah.
Timely rains, good emergence?
Yeah, no, everything's coming up beautiful.
What's your name and where do you farm?
My name's Callan Ferguson, farm 20 minutes west of Brandon, Manitoba.
And how are the crop conditions in your area?
Not good.
Anything seeded?
We're 50% seeded, but yeah, for the areas we're probably near 20%.
So for the stuff that's seeded, is it going to be okay or not?
We've probably lost 30% of that with drowned out already, and the rest of it's not looking too great now either.
So what's your name and where do you farm?
Rick Brosick. I farm southeast Regina at Fillmore.
And what are your crop conditions like this year?
This year, pretty well non-existent, I guess. Winter wheat looks pretty good. I've got a little bit of that, but then other stuff, I got a little bit of wheat seeded. It's coming up fine where it's not flooded out, but yeah.
So what's your name and where do you farm?
Brett Kilo, I farm at Purdue, Saskatchewan.
How are crop conditions in your area?
Good to excellent.
Do you need some timely rains, or?
It could use a rain right now, but we're not desperate for it.
Is there a crop that looks, or is there a type of crop that looks the best in the area?
Pretty well everything's coming along really nicely.
What's your name and where do you farm?
Dana Johns, Kenton, Manitoba.
And what are crop conditions like in your area?
Not very good.
Anything seeded?
About half, a third to half.
And the stuff that is seeded, how does it? Is it not good?
No.
Okay, what's your name and where do you farm?
Gary Draper. I farm Lenore, Manitoba, which is about 15 miles northeast of Verdon.
And how are the crop conditions in your area?
We're saturated.
What percent seeded would everybody be?
Well, it depends. We live not too far from the Assiniboine Valley, so if you're in the west side of the valley, it's not too good. If you're on the east side, it's a little better. So we managed to get about 85% in, and that's as far as we'll be able to go.
What's your name and where do you farm?
I'm Barry Rutledge, and I farm Lenore, Manitoba, halfway between Virgin and Amiota.
And what are the crop conditions like in your area?
The crop conditions are very variable. We have very variable land out in our way. We have farmers anywhere from 15% sown to about 85% sown. I have land down in Assiniboine. We have roughly 900 acres under 8 feet of water right now. The hay conditions are looking good. Pasture conditions are looking very poor from overland flooding, and we're actually having to pasture our hay ground right now.
What's your name and where do you farm?
My name's Marty Say, and I farm at Wyston, Saskatchewan.
And what are the crop conditions like in your area?
The crops are looking really good now, but we haven't had rain for 5 weeks.
Okay.
So we're actually probably the one little area in the province that's probably looking for rain right now. So I guess it's different than a lot of people I talk to today that are sick of rain.
Is there a certain crop that looks the best in your area?
Everything actually looks good. I plant cereals and lentils, and they're all coming up really well. Really weedy though, but we're right in the middle of spring right now. So
cool. What's your names and where do you farm?
Brooks here, Chad here, and we're from Douglas, North Dakota.
So what are the crop conditions like in your area?
Wet, very wet.
Okay. What percent seeded would you guys be?
Oh, probably about 2/3 done.
And of the 2/3 that's seeded, how does it look?
Right now it looks decent. We need sunshine. Yeah, 2 weeks of sunshine would be very welcome.
What's your name and where do you farm?
Chris Meyerly, Tisdale, Saskatchewan.
What are crop conditions like in your area?
Actually really good compared to last year. 100% of the acres got planted in the area. Crops are coming up excellent. We've had an inch to inch and a half rain in the whole area in the last 3 to 4 days, so Yeah, excellent conditions.
Is there a certain crop type that looks the best?
Not particularly. I think everything's had a really good start. We had lots of subsoil moisture from last year. We were just a little dry. We got a little bit of patchy germination, but that's going to straighten up now with rains.
Okay. What's your name and where do you farm?
My name is Derek Jansen and I farm in British Columbia.
And what are crop conditions like in your area?
Wet, very wet. Plantings have all been late. The guys aren't getting their corn in the ground. First cut of hay is sketchy getting off, and potato farmers and pea farmers, they're having a heck of a time with it as well.
What's your name and where do you farm?
Norm Shoemaker, farm at Mossbank.
Okay. How are the crop conditions in your area?
Perfect. Well, a little wet, but
ideal?
yeah, they're ideal. We're starting, the water's pooling though, so we're losing acres.
All the different crop types look really good?
Yeah, some disease showing up because of the wetness, but
how about weeds? Lots of weeds coming?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
So what's your name and where do you farm?
Nick Anderson, we farm at Abbey, Saskatchewan.
And how are the crop conditions in your area?
We're pretty good. We got everything seeded and crops sprayed. We had good subsoil moisture and whatnot, but we could use a rain now.
Which of the crop types kind of looks the best on your farm?
The derm is really strong. Peas and lentils are coming. They're slow.
What's your name and where do you farm?
Brendan Miller from Rockhaven.
Okay, what are the crop conditions like in your area?
Unreal. They're just excellent. Optimum moisture, everything's good.
Okay, is there a specific crop that looks the best or does it all look good?
Oh, it all looks good.
Okay.